Live streaming is on. Good morning. It is 11:30 on Thursday, and welcome to Science today. So today we are talking about um, the impact of overpopulation and overconsumption, and how they affect Earth's systems. A little background. Um, After, let's see, the Civil War, as we began the industrial age, we had a great increase in the production of food grains due to the introduction of high yielding varieties. They started to find the best seeds, something called hybridizing, and increased so that wheat produced more seeds and you got more corn off a plant, things like that. Began to use pesticides and understanding how to better manage crops, such as rotating crops so you don't deplete the soil of nutrients. Don't plant the same crop every year, or sometimes you have to let the soil rest and renew itself. So we took all of this knowledge and information, and we just had this huge increase in available food. Does it mean that we were able to wipe out hunger? No. I mean, we shared? No. But we did have an explosion of food, and then we had an explosion of consumption, and more people were born, and we started to see a problem coming from when we overconsume and when we have a population. Remember, when the population increases greater than the support. Okay, so we're starting to see problems with that. Then we can have scarcity of resources. So there is a cartoon here, and I'm going to share with you. No, this cartoon has to do with the, oopsie, that was my fault, overconsumption of resources. And many of these things that we use are petroleum based. And that's a greater use of non-renewable sources. And also, when we discard them, where do they go? Right? We're having landfills. Some of these things have, when they start to break down, have very bad chemicals, which can cause cancer and kill wildlife and many other things. So as we are better off, we buy more things because we're taught that we need more things. That's a marketing tool on Madison Avenue, that we want people to, number one, think they need these things, and number two, that they always need the newest one. And it's called planned obsolescence, meaning that if I've got first we had a flat screen TV, right? Then the TV went from flat screen, then we had 4D, right? 4D. And then we keep renewing things. And then first cars only came in black, then cars came in colors, and then cars had different features. So the car may not be worn out, but now you need it with this new thing. You need the new iPhone 12. Now you'll need the iPhone 24. And I guess it'll make your food. Who knows? But all of that is by design. But at the same time, when we're consuming all of these things, what is the impact to our environment, and what is the impact to those around us? There was another cartoon that I wanted you to look at that had to do with overpopulation. Here we go. The world population hits 7 billion. Let's celebrate. And then what we have here, he's holding the Earth's resources, and everyone's got their cup out. What does he say? There might not be enough for everyone. Yeah, that's the whole thing, that there may not be enough for everyone. So now let's take a look at this worksheet about overpopulation. Okay. Basically, this is a C12. It's a CK12 that we've been looking at all along. So, is life the same for all 7 billion of us? As you know, it's not. If you can look in the first page at the homes for this particular group of people, and then look at this home, uh, only a few people in the world use the majority of the world's energy and resources. As a matter of fact, in our country, we use 75% of the world's oil. So not only in certain places of the world are their needs met, but they have luxuries. And then many other people lack resources without enough food, a place to live with the threat of hunger, and many do not have safe, clean water. And as we found in this country, there are many, many pockets of people who don't have safe, clean water. And some live in crowded, rundown housing, some live in mansions. So, overpopulation. Overpopulation takes place when the number of organisms exceeds the carrying capacity of the region. Remember, meaning what we can support. And what is the carrying capacity of Earth for humans? Are 7 billion people the human carrying capacity? Is that the maximum that we can support? Is it 9 million? We don't know. But what we do know is that we can tap out of resources. Certain things can run out, non-renewables. We've talked about that. It seems as though we've increased the carrying capacity of the planet for humans, and we've done this with farming. We just talked about improvements in farming and fossil fuels and improvements in healthcare. We've now exceeded, have we now exceeded the Earth's carrying capacity? Are humans on Earth experiencing overpopulation? And this is a sky view of Manhattan, one of the most heavily populated regions in the world. So we really don't know if we're at carrying capacity, but we depend on non-renewables. And so we could be just about there, or we could be there. Human population and the environment. There is evidence that there are too many of us, that the large population is becoming too high. And that's because we're harming the environment. And some of these harmful effects, and know these, know a few of them. Supplying people with energy creates a lot of pollution. For example, huge oil spills have killed millions of living things. Burning fossil fuels pollutes the air. It also causes global warming. Fossil fuels and other resources are being used up. We may run out of oil by the mid-2000s. Wonder where that number comes from. Many other resources will run out sooner or later. People are killing too many animals for food. As a matter of fact, some of the best fishing grounds in the ocean have almost no fish left. So imagine some of the things that we have now as food sources will be extinct, will be gone forever. People have destroyed many habitats. For example, they've drained millions of acres of wetlands and build on them. And wetlands carry a great diversity of species. And as the wetlands shrink, species go extinct. People have also introduced invasive species. And as a matter of fact, in the Everglades in Florida is now home to an Asian python. And it eats things that are native to that habitat, and they may be becoming extinct. So this introduction can be accidental or intentional. Often the aliens have no natural enemies, that's the thing, and they'll drive native species extinct. And in the mid-1900s, Asian tree snakes invaded Guam and other islands in the Pacific. The snakes stowed away on boats and planes. And the snakes had no natural enemies on the islands, so their population exploded. The snakes have caused the extinction of 9 of the 11 native bird species in Guam. And that was an Asian tree snake. Let's see if we can get this back. Come on. Okay. So people themselves are also affected by the large size of the human population. Some people have a lot. Some have very little. Many refer to the abundance of luxury items in some people's lives as overconsumption. People in developed nations use 30 times more resources than people in the developing countries of the world. The symbol of this is CO2 emissions, which are a waste product from fossil fuel burning. Populations that burn the most fuel have a high standard of living. So in China now, they are relying on fossil fuels to propel people out of extreme poverty, but it is having an impact on the environment. So, in summary, supporting 7 million people is taking an environmental toll on the planet. Pollution, habitat destruction, and invasive species are a few of the problems caused by the high population, and overconsumption means that some people have a lot and others have a little. And those that have a lot tend to use a larger amount of the resources. So, in review, what are some of the ways that the large human population is harming the environment? What are invasive species and why do they do so much damage? And then finally, what is overconsumption? So, those are your questions. And basically, this is what you would be looking at. How does overpopulation and overconsumption impact Earth systems? Just be familiar with that idea and work on those summary questions. That is all we have for today. I will see you all tomorrow for social studies. Take care.